All right, live in three, two, one. All right, connection's on, system's green, and audio is set. I love this job. All right, yep, that's us. We're live. Hey there, Spinners and Sharks. Ace Vegas here, and I hope you're doing well. And yeah, just want to go ahead and say hi to everybody in the live chat here. Before we get started with the subject of today's video, I wanted to address my unfortunate failed bid for Vice President of the United States. I was selected as Kino Kid's running mate. We started campaigning for president. It was Monday, November 2nd of 2020. I think we might have waited just a little too long. Unfortunately, this was supposed to be our victory speech. Turns out we have to concede. I think Kanye might have beaten us in one too many categories, so that's just one of those things that happened. Let's say hi to everybody in the live chat over here. Who we got in live chat? We got Tamar, we got Muffy, we got Lucky Dog Slots, Triple Ripple in the house. We got Vegas Best Ideas, Kino Kid, who I was running mate for. Thank you very much. We got Cinnamon Girl, we got Jen, we got Kino Candy in the house, Patrick Ang in the house too, Cool Johnny coming through, Denise Zuckerman coming through. Everybody is in the house. I'm digging it. I'm glad everybody is here because there is something serious that I'd like to talk about. So yeah, without further ado, we'll probably go ahead and get started. So I'm not sure if you guys got to see. So we got Carry On, we got Water, Wilds and Weeds, that's W3. As I like to say, Laney in the house, LA Shadow coming through. Bowl full of pancakes, what's good? Yeah, guys, I think, so yes, the Kino Kid and Ace of Vegas campaign is on hold until 2024, but again, we have a really, really good platform here. As you can see, it's a really great platform. It's supposed to be, really all it's supposed to be is less scandal, more Vegas. It's a simple platform. I think it's reasonable. Glad that we get to do that. So don't forget about us next time you're voting in 4 years. Just saying. All right, so we got a couple drinks over here, but let's go ahead and start a few things. So decided to start that with a little bit of light political humor, just because I like to make fun of politicians, as you guys know. And today will be no different. We will definitely be making fun of a politician, but this is less for that and more for informational purposes. Maria, who's that girl? Good to see you guys both. You're just in time for us to get started here. So this is actually informative, this is informational, and this is based off of Governor Sisolak's speech. So that's going to be a big thing. Jacob, I think I'm going to have another trip report coming up in the next couple weeks here, but we've got lots of reviews, and I've got a pool review coming up on Saturday, so stick around, Jacob. Cosmopolitan is on the list, by the way. Okay, but anyway, though, not sure if you guys had a chance to look. A couple days ago, Governor Sisolak, that's Spicy Steve, as Kino Kid likes to call him, he spoke and addressed the state of Nevada, and kind of indirectly addressed us as tourists too. I've got some segments of his speech I'd like to play for you guys, and more importantly, I'd like to analyze with you guys. I'd like to criticize him a bit. And, there's some things I'm kind of cool with, some other things I'd like to really criticize him on. He's a politician. He's a public figure. And, he's out in the public eye. That's the biggest thing. So, at this point over here, I think it's completely appropriate to criticize a politician. I think if we get to the point where we can't criticize our politicians, can't criticize our leaders, that's an America I don't want to live in. So, that's my personal opinion. That's my personal interpretation of what the country was founded on. And I'm very much looking forward to criticizing him and keeping him honest. And I'm hoping you guys are too. Oh, who's that girl? I'll have to check my tweets. I'm very bad at the Twitter. Feel free to go ahead and reach out to me on Instagram too. I'm getting a lot better at the Instagram. It's just trying to keep up with all the messages when I'm at work too, and it's starting to pick up a little bit as we're gaining popularity here on the channel. So guys, to anyone that I haven't messaged back yet, just feel free to go ahead and ping me again. Sometimes I do miss those. I mean, I work a full-time job, got a family and all that, so I apologize for missing those. Sometimes I do get a little overwhelmed, but that's on me, so feel free to go ahead and ping me again. It doesn't feel like harassment or anything like that. I just meet him, so that's on me. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this. So this is the Governor Steve Sisolak speech about the stay-at-home order 2.0. He released this on Tuesday, November 10th. I'm just so COVID fatigued that I don't know what day it is anymore. I apologize for that. It's just one of those deals. But yes, we are going to be discussing the possibility of another lockdown. We're going to be discussing the possibility of other restrictions, but most importantly, we're going to be discussing exactly what Governor Sisolak said. So let's begin. I've got our first clip lined up over here. I am going to get this into a good position to actually play. I got to hide my overlay here, and we're going to get down to, all right, Governor Sisolak, you have the floor, sir. We're going to go ahead and play the first clip where he explains basically what the stay-at-home order is here and how that's going to affect us as tourists as well as any locals watching.
Good evening. Thank you for being here tonight for this important COVID-19 update. Tonight I'm grateful that Dr. Tony Slonim, the President and Chief Executive Officer at Renown Health, could be here with me to share the very real burden that COVID-19 is having on our communities. You will hear from him shortly. As you are all aware, our country and states are on a very rough course right now when it comes to the coronavirus and its trajectory. New cases, hospitalizations, and tragically fatalities are on the rise. The fall spike predicted by all medical and scientific experts is now our reality. Nevadans need to accept and understand this reality now and change behaviors immediately. I'm encouraged by this week's news about a potential COVID-19 vaccine. It gives me hope, and it should give you hope. Our Nevada team is closely monitoring these updates and adjusting our vaccine distribution framework so we are ready when the time comes. But an accessible vaccine isn't ready today. It won't be ready tomorrow, and it won't be ready next week. And based on our current case numbers, we can't wait for a vaccine to get this deadly virus back into a manageable level. We don't have much time to act to avoid a dangerous hospital surge and keep our economy going and keep people at work. We're walking a tightrope between maintaining faith services, commerce, and recreational activity, and protecting lives, our public safety frontline workers, and our healthcare infrastructure. We all must act right now to keep our economy open and eventually begin to restore other parts of our life, like schools, family gatherings, and entertainment venues. But, and this is very important, in the next 2 weeks, we must see a significant reversal of the current trends, which are deeply concerning now. There were more than 1,300 new cases identified yesterday, more than 8,000 new tests, and unfortunately, 7 additional deaths. Our 14-day positivity rate is an astounding 13.7%. Is continuing to climb. For the most recent 7-day period, cases are growing at a rate of 1.2%, or 1,326 new cases per day. 1,326 new cases per day. The Nevada Hospital Association reports that Nevada continues the upward trajectory of COVID-19 cases as the population appears to have disengaged from mitigation steps such as social distancing and remote working. Monday marked the highest recorded number of hospitalizations since mid-August, effectively erasing the progress made over the past 3 months. To preserve our state's economy, we must refocus on preventing the spread of COVID-19. We have to go back to the basics, which by now are pretty common knowledge. Wearing masks, maintaining social distancing of at least 6 feet, and limiting the risk of exposure, and washing your hands are the only ways we can keep going in the right direction. The only proven way to control the current widespread transmission of COVID is to decrease mobility. That means staying home as much as we possibly can. Thus, we have Stay at Home 2.0. As a result, for the next 2 weeks, Nevadans need to operate in a stay-at-home 2.0 mentality to get things under control so our public health response infrastructure can catch up. We need that time to bring testing timelines down, catch up on contact tracing, and relieve our healthcare infrastructure system.
Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. Let me catch up on what's happening here in the live chat. So, essentially, what Governor Sisolak is saying is, let's call it what it is, ish went sideways. I guess they're seeing a lot of cases. The fatalities, all things considered, are pretty low. I agree with them. I don't think any fatalities are acceptable. Even 7 is 7 too many. As you know, we've had some COVID infections here in the Ace of Vegas family. I'm not going to put anyone's business out there like that. If it's something that's private and you want to deal with it privately, absolutely. But there have been some COVID infections in the Ace of Vegas family. And unfortunately, some cases have been more severe than others. I'll say that, and I'll leave it at that. Again, just to protect everybody's personal and family privacy, just for the sake of that, because these are all important people, just saying. Now, regardless, that's just so that's basically what's happening. So this is why Governor Sisolak has been a little freaked out. Now, obviously, this is something he's been saying a lot. I remember the last time we did a speech like this back in, I think it was, July, or maybe August or something like that. We live stream a speech like this, and it sounds very much a lot of the same. It sounds very similar to the last speech that we live streamed here. So I am a little concerned about that bit of things too. So, there's that to consider. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts initially? TVP would like to look into some more of the numbers over here, just to kind of see what Governor Sisolak is talking about in this regard, and my video is skipping for some reason. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Sorry, I'm going to have to make a quick adjustment over here. I think it just freaked out a little bit. Yep, there it is. Okay. Got it fixed. But yeah, guys, what do you guys think? Do you think that these numbers are legit? Are you guys concerned about the numbers? How do you guys feel about numbers in tourism right now, all things considered? So I'll leave that open to the live chat for just a minute or two. We'll discuss that for a minute, and I think we should probably get back to actually watching the speech here and analyzing more of it. And Scott, good to see you in the live chat. Welcome to the program. Pleasure as always. Because next I'm going to talk about what's going to happen to businesses. Or more accurately, Governor Sisolak is going to talk about what's going to happen to businesses, and we are going to comment on it or possibly roast him, depending on what he says. We're going to find out. All right, let's see here. So, man is saying, I would feel safer without a mask in the slums of any Philippines island than any major metropolitan U.S. city right now. Okay, so is not feeling safe with leadership like Governor Sisolak, which, hey, fair enough, he's an American politician. I can't say I fault you for it. I don't always feel the safest with American politicians myself here, except for possibly Mr. Kino Kid here. I think he'd make an excellent president. Kino Kid for President 2024. Don't forget to subscribe to his YouTube channel, too. Just saying. Putting that out there. Let's see. Is he going to shut down Vegas again, Lance? Very good question. Very good question. And Melba's thinking, she's thinking that the new administration might be looking at a shutdown too, so that's something to consider, guys. And the Vegas Paradise would like some more concrete facts. I think that's a reasonable thing. Let's always get concrete facts. Always ask for numbers. Ask for proof. I think ask for quantifiable proof. That's a perfectly reasonable thing to do, especially with these sorts of things here. So there's that. Cool, Johnny. Good to see you there. Let's see. Where else are we at? We don't know. He's going to ask people. Yep. Sleepless in Las Vegas. He hit the nail on the head. How is he going to ask people to stay home when we have tourists here every day? He's going to address that at the end of the speech. I've actually got a little something cut out specifically for that, so we're going to talk about that at the very end. All right, cool. So yeah, let's. Okay, yeah, I think that's. I think we got a good vibe of things. People do want concrete numbers, and it sounds like we don't have a lot of faith in leadership, which isn't a new thing for discussing American politics. We get a little wary of some of our leaders here. Whatever side of the political spectrum they are. So, one of those deals. We'll work it out. We're going to work it out. All right, Spinners and Sharks. So let's go ahead and move on and see how we do here. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the webcam once again. And we are going to continue on to the next subject that Governor Sisolak would like to discuss. I skipped ahead about 4 minutes because there's just a lot to discuss here. And it's a big, 6-minute segment. So stand by. There's going to be a lot to talk about. Because we're going to talk about hotels and restaurants and businesses and schools and things like that and how that's going to affect the lot of us. Okay? So here we go.
So we've got some specifics for you. For all employers and office spaces, we're asking that you telework as much as possible. If employees can do their jobs from home, have them do so for the next 2 weeks. If employees have to be in the workspace, they need to be masked at all times. And meetings should be done virtually from individual offices instead of in conference rooms or shared spaces. For commercial and government employers, this is not the time to encourage or even allow crowded meetings in indoor events, like birthday parties or retirement parties. Masks must be worn by everyone in meetings of 2 people or more for the entire duration of the meeting. Keep the number of people in meetings to a bare minimum and keep the meetings short. I will be directing all state employees to adhere to these common sense practices and encourage all local governments to follow. To the private sector, follow our lead and help protect your businesses and employees.
Oh, hang on. What is this? Oh, shoot. Yeah, I forgot I'm streaming it. Let me go ahead and skip past this little bit here. Sorry about that.
Faith leaders and places of worship, please review and remind the faithful of all safety protocols. We've witnessed in other parts of the country significant spread from wedding celebrations, celebrations of life, and other church gatherings. From synagogues to mosques to churches and chapels, please take all necessary measures so we can continue to worship. Sometimes these are done unknowingly. People get out of a mass or service and they congregate in the courtyard and they catch up and they talk and they spend time with each other. We're asking for 2 weeks to stop that practice. So please leave the service and get in your car and go home. Local government and enforcement. I know the majority of our businesses are doing a great job, but for those that aren't, you are threatening Nevada's economy in this critical moment. I do not want every business to suffer with closures because a small few refuse to follow the protocols. So for the next 2 weeks, we implore every business to follow the protocols that have been put in place. That's why I am asking local governments to step up enforcement measures over the next 2 weeks to ensure all businesses are doing their part. This includes citations, fines, and potential license suspensions.
Okay. All right, Spinners and Sharks. It goes on like that for a while, too. Then they discuss They discuss a few more things with schools and all that, but that's the essentials of this portion of things here. Let me check my outline here. Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. But basically, they're looking at license suspensions. They're going to be cracking down on businesses. They're really big on the airport actually too. That's kind of a big deal. There's a question in the live chat here. Oh, why isn't did we cover the sign language translator not wearing a mask? Yes, we did. Seeking Vegas. It's for lip reading. Yeah, part of American Sign Language, ASL. A big part of it is apparently lip reading. I do have a coworker that is deaf that has taught me a little bit of American Sign Language, and she says that it is right to add the lip reading to the whole thing there. So that's the reason, I think, in this instance. So, it is what it is. You got to got to keep it accessible. So, in one of those deals there. But anyway, but yeah, they are getting pretty serious about that. Governor Sisolak goes on to discuss how he's seen the airports have been getting lax, and personally, when I went to the airport from my most recent trip, from the Circa trip, I did see people were just kind of walking around with their masks off, and security didn't do anything about that. TSA didn't do anything about that. The airlines don't do anything about it until you're actually on the plane. But yeah, people just walking around the terminal without masks. There wasn't a lot of them. I'd say maybe like 1 to 3% of people that I saw. Honestly, it's probably less than that. But it's more jarring when you're used to it. And it was a slow day at the airport, so you see it a lot more frequently. And that's kind of the weird part, is that you see it so frequently. Like, you see people wearing masks all the time. And it's kind of weird to see somebody that isn't wearing a mask, unless you live with them there. Like, unless you share a last name, blood, or, a bedroom with them. You're probably not going to see most of those people in a maskless state. So it's a little strange. It is a little strange, and I think that's what the governor's getting at over here and what he's really concerned about. So how do you guys feel about that? We've already seen a crackdown. Aria, we had a video or a podcast about that. I believe it was Sunday, about Aria getting the $12,000 fine. I believe it was $12,617 from OSHA because their point of sale terminals, their little cash registers, were just a little too close to each other. They're fighting that. They're fighting that as hard as they can. But it looks like it's kind of a warning shot. Governor Sisolak's going to discuss this a little more in just a moment. He's going to break it down a little more, but it looks like it's going to be warning shots. He was firing warning shots there with that $12,000 fine, and I don't think he intends to slow down any. So keep that in mind as we continue as we actually continue the whole speech here. So that'll be interesting. What are your guys' thoughts so far in the comments section? How do you feel about the increase in fines and the emphasis on how fines are going to be handled? I think it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to go with some of these large casino companies and see how everyone's going to do. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm pretty robust. I'm young. I'm in pretty good shape here, so I don't worry too hard about things as far as physicality goes. I'm not taking my family traveling anywhere right now. I only went to Vegas so I could do my circus streams, so I could go to Rocktober with all my other vlogger friends and all that. That was pretty much it. I don't think I'd just go purely recreationally right now. Just personal opinion there. So one of those deals. BD in the house. Good to see you, bud. Oh, LA Shadow's got an interesting idea. That's why he's speaking out. People don't follow simple rules because of their political affiliation. Mind-boggling. That is a little bit of an odd thing, seeing people that are freaked out about, politics when it's a scientific thing. That is something that bothers me. I personally see a lot of people politicizing a virus, and from what I learned in biology class, I'm not an expert on this. I'm pretty sure viruses, bacteria, fungi, and things like that, microscopic organisms like that, generally don't have a political affiliation. As long as you're ignoring the clowns in Congress, those have political affiliations. But the rest of the viruses and parasites generally don't, so that's kind of something to deal with. Yeah, fines are a tricky enforcement mechanism. So because the severity of the impact's based on the income. Vacation Impossible, I'm going to get to that a little later, but I don't think it's so much the money. I think it might be a little more tied to licenses, business licenses and such. Oh, Carlos, good to see you, buddy. but I think it's going to be more of a license thing, especially for these big casinos, because the Nevada Gaming Control Board is very, very strict. So I can see them being more afraid of the licenses than the $12,000 or $24,000 fines or what have you. Just keep that in mind as we continue. Oh yeah, Tina, it's gonna be interesting. We'll have to see what Governor Sisolak has to say about old Spicy Steve. See if old man Sisolak really wants to play with having people in the house or anything like that. It'll be interesting. Yep, it's not going to go away for a while, 100%. I think I agree, Denise. I think we're going to be in this a little longer than we anticipate. I don't think it's going to be a forever thing. I know they were talking about the vaccine. Pfizer apparently has got a vaccine there, so we'll have to deal with that. We'll work it out. We'll work it out, definitely. But yeah, I think science is most important here, not necessarily politics. That's my opinion, and it's my platform, so I'm going to go ahead and voice my opinion there. All right, but yeah, let's go ahead and let's get back in here, and let me go ahead and turn the audio back up and bring back Governor Sisolak. Governor Sisolak, let's talk a little more about, what did we want to talk about? All right, old man Spicy Steve, let's talk about the license suspensions here, because I know you wanted to talk about that and talk about compliance from the businesses, and yes, he does say compliance. So strap yourselves in for this one. This is going to be interesting.
We can all do our part to prevent from happening. Some people are going to ask, why not limit retail or casino resorts or restaurants right now? That's a fair question. That's the tightrope I was referring to. That is the tightrope of trying to balance controlling the COVID spread, protecting our hospitals from surges, and at the same time not destroying and shutting down our economy. I want to make every effort. I want us to make every effort to keep people on their jobs and to keep our economy moving forward. Additionally, those businesses under scrutiny from OSHA, local authorities, gaming regulators, and others will see an increased enforcement in those businesses and an increase in violations and fines if people are not complying. They are monitored for non-compliance with mitigation protocols, and they will be fined for non-compliance when standards are not met. Additionally, I've been asking the various businesses and their associations to step up their in-house and back-of-house communications with their employees, asking them to follow our protocols in the workplace and in the community and when they go home. This is common sense. If you're in a carpool with 4 people that don't live in your household, wear a mask when you're in the car. I mean, wear a mask at all times when is at all possible. Additionally, there may be a perception of a double standard here, but managing through this pandemic, protecting your health and your jobs is a daily challenge. And the only way we can get to the other side of this for all of us is to fight this horrible virus together. While we might be getting COVID fatigue, the virus is not getting infection fatigue. We need to do more. Properly wear your masks in any public setting, indoors and outside. Okay, and I'm going to make this real simple. Properly wearing your mask means covering your mouth and your nose. Wearing it on your ear or your chin or under your nose is not properly wearing your mask. Properly wearing your mask means your nose and your mouth are completely covered. Avoid hosting meetings, parties, or crowded events in small indoor places. Maintain distance of at least 6 feet and limit close contact with people, even if you're wearing a mask.
All right, guys, that's enough for now. All right, we're going to take a quick break from Governor Sisolak here. Yes. So, yeah, got to agree with him on that. If you're going to do something, do it full ass. If you're going to wear the mask, obviously, if you're eating and drinking, it's got to be off. But if you're going to walk around with it, you got to be, just be smart about it. Keep it over the mouth, over the nose. That's what doctors are telling us. That's what scientists are telling us. I don't agree with politicians, but I do agree with scientists and doctors who have dedicated their life to studying these sorts of microorganisms and studying these sorts of pathogens and studying ways to eradicate them. So I am 100% behind our physicians, our nurses, our EMTs, and our scientists. Screw what the politicians say. I'm behind them. I'm right behind our scientists. So just saying that. Just saying that. Now, on the other hand, it's definitely a bit of a drag. I have some masks that works. Masks that are like Jesus, like my entire, the entire back of my head is killing me with the ears and all that. But, hey, Ted, good to see you, buddy. Nose is connected to the lungs, right? Confirm. Oh, gonna be tough stuff. Don't disturb the cringe. Room rates are dropping. Confirm. Don't disturb the cringe. We'll see about it. All right, doing the best. Scorpion team on this one, 100%. Yeah, Leathers, you know what? That's a good question. Yeah, frontline doctors, they're having a tough time about it. I 100% agree with our frontline doctors that are seeing this thing, and they're seeing the scientific process up front, so I'm behind them 100%. I couldn't give a damn I do give a damn what scientists say. I don't give a damn what politicians say. I almost said that incorrectly, and I apologize for my misnomer there, so that's my fault. But yeah, actually, it's kind of fascinating. For once, it sounds like Sisolak's actually trying to shoot on both sides of the fence. I don't think he wants to destroy Nevada. I don't think it's in his best interest to shut anything down, but it's also not in his best interest to, just leave everything going if they're running into a public emergency. It's a very challenging sort of thing. I don't envy the guy, for sure. It's a rough time. It really is a rough time. All right, guys, we need to take a break. Let's have a shot here. Let's get a shot of something. Who wants to... I got shot to Jameson. I got triple sec over. Do you guys just want to do a shot of Jameson? Sound off in the live chat over here. Penny suggested it because he said he needs a hit of beer to listen to Governor Sisolak, and I can't say I blame him because it's like listening to nails on a chalkboard on repeat on the loudest Bose sound system you can have. Because he is straight up the worst. I'm not even going to lie. So that's let's have a couple shots. Let's have a shot at least. We'll have that shot of Jameson, guys. A little shot of Jameson over here. All right. But yeah, kind of a tough spot right here. Next, we're gonna go ahead and discuss a couple other things. I think there were a couple questions. There's a Q&A section towards the end over here. I think it's in about 3 minutes that it comes up. A little over 3 minutes, so. Yes. Because I think Dr. Tony something or other is still speaking right now, and then Governor Sisolak will be back, and then he'll be talking about if they're going to close or not. So that's going to be the most important thing. So we're going to find out if Vegas is going to close very shortly after this. Spoken with frontline nurses, told me they feel as serious as viruses. The neighbors might be inflated because of the hope of vaccines. Oh, yeah, that's a good point there. That's a good point there, TVP. So, Tina, good to see you. Yeah, let's talk about this stuff here. All right, guys, we're doing some Jameson. Shot of Jamie. Empty shot glass. We put him down. Powerhouse that. Shout out to the Bears. The Bears, if you're there. Gotten first-hand arguments against overuse of masks from friends who are frontline nurses, but I wear the mask to avoid ridicule. Yeah, I can feel that, Melba. I know personally, I work in healthcare. I'm not going to tell you where. I'm going to tell you exactly what I do just so I can keep my work life separate from my Ace of Vegas and protect my family, protect you guys from all the stuff that comes from working in healthcare, most importantly. But I do work in there, so it's one of those deals, just something to keep in mind. And Miss Crystal, good to see you there. Yeah, Coco's got a nurse in here. Nurse Jerry is also a nurse here. Shout outs to her. Shout outs to all of our nurses and doctors and EMTs and ambulance drivers and all that are here in the live chat and that are watching the replay and that aren't here regardless. That are doing their best and trying to deal with this thing. Again, I've had some personal acquaintances and, of course, personal friends, personal family members that have been affected by this. We've had members of the Ace of Vegas family as well that have been affected by the COVID negatively, whether it was first-handedly or through a family member. So, the stuff is serious, guys. 100% serious. I know it's to varying degrees, but it's definitely serious, and it's having an effect on mental health. It's having an effect on physical health too. So this is all very important stuff. So I really hope that this information here that we're getting from the governor can help you guys make a decision as to how to protect your family and friends from this deadly virus, and also help you keep your sanity too, because that's also an important thing. And Governor Sisolak discussed that in his speech as well, I believe. So did Dr. Slonim in his part of the speech here that we kind of skipped over. But anyway, moving on. I think we're gonna skip back over to Governor Sisolak. He's gonna start taking questions. So let me get over to the first question. The first question is regarding whether Vegas is going to close or not. So yes, Spicy Steve, let's see if you can salvage this. Good luck, old man. Good luck. Oh, nope. Apparently it's not going to let me do that. Yep, here we go.
Dr. Sloan, happy to take some questions.
Okay, here he comes now.
Hi, Governor.
How are you?
Good. Thanks for doing this. So on October 20th, you said the trajectory was alarming, but the future depended on residents. On the 29th, you said we're not rounding the corner, and if we don't change course, trade-offs will be necessary. It's November 10th, and the message feels similar. You don't believe we need closures to curb the spread of the virus, and are imploring people to change behaviors without state-level action. Why do you think this time imploring residents is going to work differently than it appears to have worked the last two times?
I don't want, and you're right, I've been delivering the same message here for weeks, months. Understand, I do not want to close businesses or implement more restrictions. And I don't think we need to if everyone cooperates. But unfortunately, there are some folks that choose to make light of this on social media. There's some folks that are bloggers or columnists that make light of the idea. And I'm asking them, take a break for 2 weeks. Let it go. I mean, I'll be here to criticize 2 weeks from now. But I'm asking them for 2 weeks to please let it go and try to encourage people to wear a mask.
Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and stop right there. There's going to be a little bit of a lull here, and then we're going to go back into the next point. So, I'm pretty convinced. I don't think Old Man Sisolak really wants to close anything down. I don't think it's in his best interest explicitly, and I don't think it's in anybody's best interest. So for anyone that's looking to cancel their Vegas trip, you might not have to, depending on how these next 2 weeks go. So, and let's go ahead and let's keep it honest. Let's think about it. We know that Jim Murin. Y'all know Jim Murin, my best buddy. Jim Murin is... Well, actually, he's not Phil Ruffin, but Jim Murin. He's friends with everybody. And he's an MGM homie. He wants to keep his friends open. Best he can do. We know that's what he wants. Because he was corporate, he stepped down, he's on the governor's task force now. And something tells me, I can't prove it numerically, but something tells me he's a friend of the casinos, and I think he wants to see the casinos open. We're just saying. Putting that out there. Keep in mind. So, don't forget about that. Yep. Keno knows Phil Ruffin is trash. That's why he's not on the deal. Yep, James Byers agreed. 2 weeks has turned into half a year already. Don't disturb the cringe. No, he did not say a 2-week shutdown. He said that we got 2 weeks to clean this up, is basically what he's trying to say. He wants to avoid restrictions. He wants to avoid a shutdown, and that this is the last 2 weeks before he hits the hammer. I don't think he's going to close it. It doesn't sound like he wants to close it. I can't read his mind, but it doesn't sound like he wants to close it. So he's having I think it's going to be a tough time there. I don't think, and EA Leathers has a good point. It's a double-edged sword. Because there's the question of health, like physical health, there's a question, and then there's a question of economic health, and then there's also the question of mental health, too. And, it's a rough sort of thing there. I can tell you anybody that's been afflicted by COVID that I've spoken to personally, they're like, hey, man, it's no joke. Thank you for, being cool about it. And let's go ahead and, I just want to make sure everyone knows that for sure too. But then also for the other people that have been affected that I've talked to that have been out of a job, some of them since the start of the pandemic, and they don't know how they're going to get their employment. They don't know how they're going to feed their family. That's another thing too, when, also the people that have been socially isolated that can't contact with anybody, apparently later on in the speech and earlier in the speech, Governor Sisolak unfortunately discussed a young person. I believe it was a teenage boy that unfortunately he took his own life just due to mental health and not being able to get the interaction and the support there. So, there's no good way to do it. There's no good way to do this, but I think we're just looking for the best way to go about things. Let's go ahead and get over to the second question. I think there are only a couple more questions I wanted to cover, because there's the convention question, and then there's one more about restrictions and stopping tourism. So let's go ahead and get over to the second question here. Let's address this before we go any further and go from here. But Casino Whisperer basically, glad you made it to the chat, but basically Sisolak said if things don't improve, they might be looking at restrictions. He didn't explicitly say close, though, so keep that in mind. Terry, that's a good question about hospitalization rate. I'd have to look that up for you, but I think that would be some good independent research. So let's go ahead and see what else Governor Sisolak has to say.
I don't want them all to suffer, so we're giving it one last try to see if we can get this under control in 2 weeks, starting right now.
So today at the Economic Forum, the Nevada Resort Association mentioned that kind of threshold that you dangled a few weeks ago about returning to 50% convention capacity by January. For people confused about the trends that you're outlining and the underlying ideas behind that goal, what does your team's best case scenario look like over the next 2 months, and is it realistic?
It's very realistic. I think there's a lot of good things in our future. There are possibilities coming along. If we can get a handle on this virus this time and the spread of this, the infections, the hospitalizations, and ultimately the deaths, I think we can start that trajectory back coming downward. I don't want to lose those conventions. Aren't just people coming here. They're people that are spending money here. There's jobs that are being created here, and we can get our economy back to moving again. But that's not my call. That's each and every one of your call to make if you're willing to cooperate and pitch in and help us out here. I'm not asking for the world. 14 days is what I'm asking for. Please. And I know people criticize wearing masks and they protest and they go back and forth. Give it a break.
And there he goes again. Give it a break again. Steve has been really spicy for this one over here. He's been really rough on people criticizing masks and all that. He's actually invited people to criticize him, which, I got to give him a little credit for. I mean, obviously he's open to criticism no matter what. He's a politician. He's in the public eye. He creates policies for large groups of people. He's absolutely open to criticism. And good stuff. Good stuff. So, hey, criticize away. Definitely. But, he is super hyped on not criticizing the masks. He's super, super hyped on that. It's going to be interesting to see how he deals with the rest of it. So how you guys feeling about that? About conventions, again, I guess it's all going to depend on how the rest of this... So they're looking to get conventions back, which I think is kind of dope. I think that's kind of cool. Would like to see conventions coming back, because I know that's a big part of the economy right there. But I guess on the other hand, too, that's a lot of people, and I think it's also going to depend on how businesses are feeling about it, how much liability a business wants about it, because they do have to deal with the people that don't want to go, their own employees that don't want to go to these conventions here, and also they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do about people that, not just that work there, but also people that are going to be working the convention itself. So, again, it's a question of what's more important. Is it the money, the safety, physical health, mental health, social well-being, that sort of thing? It's a lot to balance. I don't envy Governor Sisolak, but, I don't admire him either. I'll say that. So, how do you guys feel about conventions coming back? Let's open it up back up to the live chat again. Let's go ahead and take a look. See here. Coco, first word on conventions. Conventions, good for the economy, but dangerous. Yes, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that would come through. A lot of people involved. It'll be interesting to see what's going on there. Vegas Paradise. Conventions will bring people who don't want to wear a mask. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, if you're required to go by work, but you telecommute normally, you don't want to wear a mask and all that, I can see that being a problem. So great for the economy, but that could be dangerous too. So that's another issue. So yeah, right there. Denise Zuckerman, smoke a bowl. Hey, you know what? As long as you're safe about it and you're of age, I say do it up. Do your thing. As long as you ain't hurting nobody. Good stuff. Let's see. Cinnamon Girl, I think it's too soon for conventions. It is pretty early on. This is still part of the scientific process. We don't know how long this thing's going to go on for. Health experts have predicted it's going to be a while. It varies from which health expert says how long it's going to be. But yeah, I can see that being a little tough. So Ned's got a interesting comment over here. Ticketmaster announced new plans for the future events that require proof of recent test or vaccine could be used at conventions. Okay, that's an option too, and I can see it being kind of a corporate mandated thing. Again, I work in healthcare, so I had to get a COVID test myself when I came back from Vegas. That was just kind of a corporate mandated thing. It is what it is. Luckily, it came back negative, obviously. So I'm not too worried about it at this point, and I'm pretty sure I was with a pretty safe group of people, quarantining and testing and all that. So I'm not too terribly worried about it personally. I don't think I was in any terrible danger, but one of those deals. Just something to keep in mind. Governor of Nevada, Silverton, $175,000 fine. Wow, that's rough. It's a big fine over there, Casino Whisperer. James, while I don't want to wear a mask, if that's what it takes, so be it. It brings shows and the conventions back with proper guidelines. And they are bringing shows back, so it'd be interesting to see if they can bring back conventions too. Let's see, Tina would love conventions to come back if they can do it in a safe manner. Let's see, Homer, I don't think conventions should come back until the spring, to be honest. Was it Homer or Homar? I might have pronounced that incorrectly. Homar, Luna, right there. Let me know in the live chat if I pronounced that incorrectly. I apologize. Conventions are going to require a vaccine or negative test, just like Ticketmaster. That makes sense. Okay. So they just got it. And I guess if it's a corporate thing, it's probably slightly different. I mean, I can see for a show, for something personal, that seems a little weird. But for a convention, I mean, it is what it is. Oh, Ryan, that's another good point over here. They're already doing small business type conventions. So yeah, I guess if they're doing very small sorts of things, good stuff. They have virtual conventions now, and it's like a GTA game. I believe that. I believe that every little bit. All right, and let me get one more in here. Let me see if we got another one. If you test negative and go out into the public, you may be positive in the time frame. Yeah, it's tough to tell. It's tough to tell how quickly the things are transmitted. Obviously, it's an upper respiratory infection, so we do know factually, according to doctors and scientists, that this sort of thing can be transmitted very quickly. It's actually pronounced like Omar, so not Homar, Omar. So it's like in Spanish, the H is silent. Good to know. So Omar Luna, I'm much obliged. Hey, Claudia, good to see you. You just made it. You just made it, buddy. Okay, let's go ahead and go into the next bit over here. I think it's going to be about restrictions. Possibly what's going to happen with restrictions. So let's get ready, guys. It's going to be interesting. Because, let's call it what it is. Governor Sisolak was asked about what kind of restrictions they're looking at. He dodged the question twice. He didn't say what the restrictions would look like, which to me means either he doesn't have a plan or he has a plan and it's going to be a rough one that people aren't going to like, and he's expecting a lot of backlash. Like, if you ever seen Inuyasha, there's the wind scar, then he does it against another move and it becomes a backlash wave and it gets like 6 times more powerful and blows up half a mountain. And he doesn't want like half a mountain blown up, if that makes any sense. So be ready for that, Spinners and Sharks. Here, as the Joker would say, and here we go.
Our universities and colleges need to do more. I'm asking our airports, you have to wear a mask in the airport now. It's just not being enforced as much, and we need to do better. We need to do better.
14 days from now, you don't see a change. What kind of restrictions are you looking at in regards to business? Are you looking at full shutdowns, or is it something that you're more looking at further restrictions?
I don't want to speculate what we'll do in 14 days. It's going to depend on what our rate is at that time as compared to now, if we've made any impact at all, if it's starting to come down or not. And it's going to have to be severe in order for us to get a handle on this. Now, it's just a question of how much we're going to have to get a handle on what position we're going to be in 14 days. You saw when we had the shutdowns, the cases came down. I don't want to do that again.
All right, guys. So there it is. He said it. Oh yeah, Coco. Good question. I did see Hog and 2 Cent on a recent live stream. They popped in. I know they've been very busy, and it was good to see them. I'm glad they were able to make it to a live stream. So it was very important that we got to see them, and I know they're working hard. So, much love to them. Thoughts and prayers to them, of course, because they are educators. As you guys know, Wonder Woman's also an educator. So I have a soft spot for teachers. Teachers are kind of my favorite people, and the teacher I live with, she's pretty hot, just saying, in case you guys didn't know. Good times. But, no, so mad shout outs to Hug and 2 Cent and the hard work they're putting in to educating our youth, and they have a very tough age range. I believe it's high school, especially under these conditions. So, hey, speak of the devil. There it is, Hug and 2 Cent. There it is. While we're talking about Jeff Goldblum. But the more we spread it, the more we open up to mutations. Might just create a monster. Oh, I'll do it in the Jeff Goldblum voice over here. Sorry to be the Jeff Goldblum in the chat, but the more we spread it, the more we open it up to mutations. We might just create a monster. Think about the super bacteria we are making with sanitation. So there it is. There it is. And Ed is calling me out over here. So, in other words, you got it made for you since you got it made for Help for Teacher. 100%, dude. All day. No worries. You know what I'm about, brother. You know what I'm about. TV with teacher. Always good times. All right, but we're going to talk about tourism here shortly. But, yeah, how do you guys feel so far about this portion of things here? Just given the current possible restrictions that we're looking at. So it does look like he's got some severe restrictions in mind. He just doesn't want to say what it is. Do you guys think that Governor Sisolak has a plan? Or do you think he's just afraid of unleashing the plan that he has because he's afraid of backlash? What are your thoughts here in the live chat? I want to hear from you guys. I want to get kind of inside your minds over here and see what's going on. There we go. Yeah, Melba's got a teacher too. There we go. Let's get back into that. So, yeah, how's everybody feel? And I apologize for my bad Jeff Goldblum impression there. I hope everybody enjoyed that a little bit. It's one of my wife's favorite impressions that I do. And she likes my Hank Hill voice, so that's a funny one. All right, Casino Whisperer in the live chat. I think the people should know ahead of time. I think that's fair. Maybe if they know what the consequences are, maybe they'll lock down. So maybe that's what's going down there. Let's see. Coco777. She's thinking that Governor Sisolak is afraid of backlash. That's quite possible there. That's quite possible. So maybe he does have a plan, but he's afraid of the backlash. Just want to deal with it. Yeah, Omar's thinking the same thing. Afraid of backlash. And Scott, afraid of backlash. Ed is thinking he's trying to get Thanksgiving weekend. They might shut things down. Actually, Ed, earlier in the speech, he said he's not afraid of shutting down on Thanksgiving. So there's that. Melba, I wish Sisolak practiced more transparency. You and me both, sister. I think if politicians practice more transparency, I might be able to trust them a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. that's politicians as a whole. I don't care what side of the fence they're on. I don't trust a politician as far as I can throw them because I know I'm not one of their campaign contributors. I'll say that. And I'll say that without getting too political. I'll say that if I'm not contributing to a politician's campaign, I can't always be convinced that they're looking out for me personally, which, hey, it is what it is. Let's see. Let's hear Samuel Jackson. Sam Jackson, it'll get you drunk. Get the motherfucking COVID out of the motherfucking casinos. There you go, Muffy. That's my best Sam Jackson right there. All right, good deal. Glad to see Hagen 2 Cent in the live chat. Good to see Lee777. Good to see Vegas Best Ideas, too. Always great to see everybody in the live chat. Glad our whole family's here. And even though we have differing opinions, everybody's basically got the same idea here that the COVID is pretty bad stuff and we want to be smart about this whole thing, no matter how intense or, how gentle the whole deal is. So that's a good thing. Keeping Me Up podcast. I think it's a combination of both. He has an idea of what it'll be like and knows people will hate it while he's not wanting to commit because it also depends on the most up-to-date numbers. Point. That's a good point. It could be a little nebulous. I don't know. Talked to my wife about it. I hate nebulous. I always like to have a concrete plan, so I'm a little on the grouchy side with Governor Sisolak here because he doesn't have a concrete plan that he wants to share with us. And that bothers me because I like to have a plan so I can make my plan and develop a strategy based on that. All right, guys, we got like 2 more minutes left to go ahead and get through the rest of the speech, and then we'll do some closing remarks here. So let's go ahead and get ready because this issue is about to get heavy. I just drank all my Dos Equis, and screw you, Spicy. Here we go.
We still think it's a deterrent.
I do believe it's a deterrent. I absolutely do, but we need to do more to make it even more of a deterrent.
Thank you.
So, Governor, I'm hoping you can clarify. You're using the phrase stay at home 2.0. You're asking people to stay at home as much as possible. Do you want people from out of state to stop coming to Nevada? Is there a line there that you want to draw in terms of out of state tourism or people coming over from California to visit Vegas for a weekend? Should they not come over these next 14 days?
No, they certainly should come because those are protecting our jobs. But when they come here and they're staying in one of our properties, they need to wear a mask. When they're in one of our restaurants, the restaurant has protocols in place that they have to follow, and both the employers, employees, and the guests have to follow. I'm asking if they're going to have a drink, if they're going to play cards or a slot machine, whatever it might be, wear a mask. That's what I'm asking for. I'm not implementing any new restrictions right now. I'm encouraging them to come, but I'm encouraging them to please follow the rules. And if everybody would just pitch in, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I know people are going to complain that I'm asking for more cooperation. I know people are going to complain about asking for more enforcement. I know some of the social media people are going to find a way to criticize what we're saying. Can you please just give it a chance for 2 weeks? Can we please try to get this under control for 2 weeks? I'm not saying you got to do this until March, which is an unreasonable amount of time to most people. I'm saying for 14 days, can everybody please pitch in and see how much good we can do? And I think it's going to have an enormous impact.
Great. Thank you, Governor.
Okay. So thank you, Governor Steve Sisolak, for coming back for a not-so-live performance for a repeat of last, I don't know, whatever it was. So it looks like we're in a bad spot, Spinners and Sharks. It is what it is. Sisolak doesn't want to do anything. In fact, he wants y'all to come to Vegas, as long as you're not, frankly, breaking any rules. Let's just call it what it is. He said that he wants you to wear masks when you're going out to play cards, hanging out on a slot machine, having a smoke, having drinks. And yes, for anybody that's going to show up in the comment section and saying, oh, see how you're supposed to have a drink with a mask on, he's not a dumbass. He said it earlier in the for being a politician, he's not stupid. He's not expecting you to drink the drink through the mask, obviously. But yeah, he is livid right now. I have never seen Sisolak so angry, except for that one time he stormed off the stage during the last live stream of his live stream. But yeah, it's a little weird. So he wants everybody that lives there to stay home, but he does want tourism too, which is such a strange binary to have to live with. And I don't know. I really don't know where to go with it. What do you guys think here, Spinners and Sharks? I think we got like 3 minutes left in the live chat. I'll take a couple questions or comments here in the live chat, and then at 5 o'clock Vegas time, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, because we have Vegas Best Ideas. They're coming on at 5:10 Vegas time with the premiere, and then after that, we have Kino Kid doing a premiere. So don't forget to go check them out. If any of my mods have Kino Kid and Vegas Best Ideas, if they have their link, I'd love to have you guys place that in the live chat there, so that we can keep this whole party going and continue enjoying some quality, positive Vegas content while we figure out how we're going to be doing our trips going forward. So that'd be lovely. All right, so let's go ahead and see what everybody said in the live chat. Oh, there's our sister Gwen Lewis over here. I will put a straw hole through my mask. All right. Modern problems require modern solutions. I like that. Steve Lowe. Steve Lowe believes that Governor Sisolak wants his cake and wants to eat it too. There we go. That's the balance right there. I mean, if you have cake, you kind of want to eat it, but at the same time, you know, if you got diabetes, how much cake can you really have? And I think that's the struggle right now. All right, Sladia, the Italian slot chick. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Vegas is in a bad spot right now. A lot of people can't come over, and we can't visit a lot of people. I got friends in Philippines. I got friends and family in the UK. I got friends, here in the United States that I can't visit right now because of this evil virus that wants to take over the world, and it's it's affecting mental health. It's affecting emotional health. I'm a very extroverted person, in case you guys didn't know. I get my energy from other positive people around me. And while I do have some great positive people around me that, that I live with, obviously, it's, it's difficult. And I can only absorb so much energy from someone like that. So, it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but, I know it can be difficult. So there you go. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and you're welcome to everybody that wanted to see the stream over here. I'm glad I could analyze it and digest it for you. Obviously, I'll put the full link to the full speech in the description box once I've edited this and edited it down a little bit, and then you guys can enjoy it in its full glory here. So, all right, Vegas Best Ideas. Oh yeah, fun episode of PJ's Cocktails. Mad shout out to PJ. I think he's got some trivia tonight. So there's that. First lockdown was 14 days, then Vegas shut down as a whole. That's another one, Steve Lowe. Good point. Omar, I don't know what Sisolak's plan is, but I honestly don't see things getting better in the next 2 weeks. It's unfortunate to see. All right, guys. Well, looks like everybody's heading out right now. There we go. Yep, we're on the live chat there. Most excellent. All right, Spinners and Sharks. Well, that's about it. Let's go ahead and head over to, I know we got PJ's Cocktails. Let me see. PJ's Cocktails and hang on. Vegas Best Ideas. I think you guys are up next. So 5:10 Vegas Best Ideas and PJ's Cocktails. Y'all going live. Go ahead and jump on that. Don't forget to check out my boy Kano Kid over there. I was his running mate for this last presidential election. So thanks again, guys. To any of you that have been affected by COVID, thank you all. And Hagen 2 cent, a great historical fact. Women were asked to sacrifice during World War II and hold down the fort. We're being asked to wear a mask and distance. It's the least we could do. That's what our grandparents, and for some of us, our parents did in World War II. We can do it too, 100%. So yeah, so guys, if you got a trip planned, be safe. If you guys don't feel comfortable with your trip, do the right thing for you and your family. If you don't feel comfortable going, don't go. So good stuff. Thank you, everyone, for coming to the live chat, and thank you, everyone, for being civil in the comment section and in the live chat as well, too, even with differing opinions. I appreciate that. Everyone was based on facts and data, and they made opinions clear. Like, if it was your opinion, you made it clear, hey, this is my opinion. This is how I feel about things. It's not an objective fact. Thank you all for that. I have the best audience. I always say I have my Spinners and Sharks are the best on YouTube. So thank you all for that and for continuing to be that positive environment here. And I look forward to seeing you guys Saturday when we talk about the circle pool. But in the meantime, yeah, let's get back over to Kino Kid. Let's get over to Vegas Best Ideas and let's enjoy ourselves. Let's have some positivity. All right, Spinners and Sharks. Well, until next time, this is Ace of Vegas. I'm signing out, wishing you all strong hands. And, of course, happy spinning, you guys. Cheers and good night.